GTA 5 is an extremely detailed game, and that's one of the reasons why I started bringing videos with 20 or 30 curiosities about specific missions or themes within GTA 5. Following a slightly different approach but basically sticking to the same line of thought, in today's video I'll bring you 10 curiosities about the prostitutes in GTA 5. To avoid having to keep saying prostitutes all the time, I'll try to just use the term girls, but you already know what I'm referring to. And guys, there are some really cool facts that bring an incredible sense of realism to the game, especially considering that the game is from 2013. So go ahead and smash that like button right at the beginning of this video to show your support, and let's get started. The first curiosity would be the following. By default, I think everyone already knows that prostitution is prohibited in the United States, and since the game is set in Los Santos, which is a clone of Los Angeles, prostitution is also prohibited in GTA 5. Therefore, there is a cool scheme that happens when you call the police. If you call a prostitute with a police vehicle nearby, it doesn't necessarily have to be as soon as you call the police. When you call her to get in, a warning will appear that the prostitutes will ignore you when the police are around. This happens precisely so that they don't attract the attention of the police and end up being arrested. The second thing connected to the first curiosity is as follows. If you come with a police vehicle and turn on the siren, you'll see the girls running away. I think they might believe that a cop has arrived to arrest them, or maybe found out what they're doing in that place, which obviously, there's no reason for a bunch of women to be hanging out on the corner almost naked, but anyway, if you turn on the siren, they'll run away in fear. The third thing is that, for a very strange reason that I couldn't understand, prostitutes don't get into emergency vehicles, they don't get into fire trucks or ambulances, they don't get into helicopters, they don't get into planes, and I think maybe they could enter like, alright, I tried with a little plane, it wouldn't be possible to do anything in the air, but when I paused the plane, maybe it should work. Believe me, I tried everything, but they don't get in. Now, something that I found really bizarre is that even if you have a female character in GTA Online, you can still pick up girls at night the same way, and up to this point, it's all good. Let's suppose that our GTA Online character is a lesbian, and that's totally fine. But the weird part about this is not that. The weird part is that when you take her to actually make something happen in a supposed service out there in the middle of the bush, or wherever you take the women to do what you need, the service available for you to perform is exactly the same service that a male character would do. So man, it's kind of awkward, it's because from my point of view, it should be a different service, or at least have the option blocked. I don't know what you guys think. If you come walking next to a girl and just stand there staring at her, or try to interact with her, she will ask you to leave a few times, and after a while she will get scared, and when she gets scared, she will end up calling the police, super angry, super annoyed, and that will give you a wanted star. And exactly why this happens, I don't know, but it's also clear that it's not something that only happens with the NPC girls. Okay, if you also do this with female NPCs throughout the game, this also happens, but anyway, I thought it would be different with the working girls. By default, the game doesn't let us pick up the girls in a vehicle without doors. I think everyone already knows why this happens, so that you can't actually see what's going on inside. However, if you pick up a girl and rip the door off the vehicle as soon as she gets in, like I did there, the game won't kick the girl out of your car and you'll be able to drive around with her and do all the acts normally. I think this was a bit of a grotesque flaw, let's say, for a part of the game that has to be censored. But still, you have the option to switch cameras during the service that's happening, and if you've ripped off a door of the vehicle or some specific part of the vehicle is missing, that part you just took off won't have a camera available for it. So, assuming you took off the right door of the vehicle, you won't have the right camera of the vehicle, you'll only have the left one because Rockstar kind of censors the right side, but the next one I'm going to send here will get rid of all the censorship. Stay tuned. If you're someone who really wants to see it no matter what, and you don't have a PC to install mods, for example, that unlock this, do the following. Invite a friend to a session by invitation only in the GTA Online session. In this case, I invited a friend to help me make this video, so I went and picked up a prostitute in a convertible car, and the character you see here is my friend. So my friend went to watch the whole thing happen, and man, all the censorship is basically removed in my view, in my game camera. It's completely invisible. Well, not completely. You can't move the camera at least, but the other character can come and see everything. And when they get close, nothing fails. No issues, no errors. Maybe sometimes there are errors, and when the job is done, the girl will run out of the car scared because there's another guy there staring like a creepy perv. But that's it. It removes all the censorship. Another bizarre thing that happens here in this part with the prostitutes is the following. If you approach them without money, somehow they will already know that you have money. You could argue that maybe it's the game not letting you engage with them without having the cash, but if, for example, you try to hail a taxi without money, you can still get a ride because in theory, the driver didn't know you were broke. The worst that could happen is that after the ride, a wanted star will appear for you, which is pretty realistic. However, when it comes to the ladies of the night, just by approaching them, they already know you're broke and in need of more money, almost as if they were telepaths or could smell poverty. This one was from a subscriber who sent it to me on YouTube. I tried to find the guy's message in every way to print it and put it here to give a special shout out, but let's go guys. This subscriber told me the following. If you you go out with the same prostitute 3 times, she will start telling you about her past. So I said, I'll test it out. So I went out with her once, and then he said, you have to pick her up at the same location. It's the same location all 3 times. It has to be the same prostitute every time. So I went there, picked her up the first time, the one you saw, and now I'm going to pick her up for the second time in the video. And let me tell you, it was a bit of a hassle to find her for the 3rd time because the NPC had to respawn in the same place, man. I had to pass by the same block like 30 times, going back and forth until she respawned, but it worked. She might appear with a different outfit, but it still worked perfectly. And guys, I can tell you that this guy's trick works. So I went out with her a few more times, and every time you go out with her after those 3 encounters, she ends up telling you a part of her story. And after she tells you a part of her story, you can still give your opinion, whether it's a disgusted, sarcastic, or compassionate one. And let me tell you, I had no idea this existed. When you go out with the prostitute for the first time, she says something like, come back to visit me, or something like that. But I thought it was just a standard thing in the game, not that if you actually went back to visit her, you would have other things. The most I did was go out with her 3 times to record the video for you, with the dialogues I'll show you here. But I don't know what happens if you go out with her like 10 times, if she tells the whole story, if she becomes your girlfriend or something, but I'll leave it here for you. In short, always take the $100 service and then decline the service, and these dialogues will happen.
Maybe you'd like some more. Well, sweet cheeks, you got what you paid for, and like anyone who's willing to pay, you only get what you bought.
And a little menu will appear above with options like disgust, sarcasm, compassion. I always selected compassion because the woman is telling a sad story, saying she fought with her parents and all that, but I don't know the dialogues of the other prostitutes. I don't know if they all have the same stories or if each prostitute has a different dialogue. But there's a tip for those who want to explore and know the story of each prostitute with secret features.
Hard. Want a little something else? Aw, don't feel too bad about paying for company. It just means you're like any of the other men, a bit desperate and sad, 'cause your mama ain't love you.
Besides everything I've already mentioned, if you go out with the prostitute, you're not wasting money. They basically increase your stamina, which is your resistance in the game. I showed a little bit of Franklin's resistance statistics, which would currently be like your endurance, your life force, something along those lines. And if you decide to go out with the prostitute, this is not cumulative. Like if you keep going out multiple times in a row, I think maybe from one day to the next, yes. But if you go out with prostitutes at the end of each service, your character's resistance will have increased. So you could even say that it's beneficial in the game. It's crazy to think about all these curiosities that exist, and a lot of people definitely didn't know, just like almost no one knows that each police vehicle in GTA 5 has a different weapon stored in it that you can grab. I talked about this in the video of 50 curiosities about the GTA 5 police, and this video is awesome. By clicking here next to the yellow arrow, you can watch this video, and I'm sure you'll like it, so go ahead and click there. Take care, and see you in the next video.